A wonderful moment, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And we are taking a look on Dr. Walter Mzembi. He has given an insight about what needs to be done to be in the nation of Zimbabwe. And it asks a very important question: what are we trying to change in Zimbabwe? Definitely, the issue about change is not changing government. The issue is about change, is about changing the characteristics of governance right here in Zimbabwe. Is about changing the systems of governance in the nation of Zimbabwe. However, maybe we only differ on who should lead the change processes, and without fear, without favor. He says, is it political personalities or an entire political culture? Shouldn't we strive to change the political culture first? Much of it imported and acquired from our liberation bases and intolerance, entitlement, and extrajudicial justice. So when we look at this statement right here about changing political culture, we don't change political culture without a political face. We need a political face which is going to start implementing the issues of reforms, start implementing the issues of disbanding the systems which we have, entrench democracy, entrench love, entrench inclusivity, entrench acceptance of the opposition and other views, divergent views, whatever. That is a kind of leader which we need. And I believe that the person who will do that best is Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Is a unifier, is a lawyer, is a man who understands what needs to be done, is a down-to-earth man. You know, that is what we need. So I believe that in as much as we want to change the political culture, we need to have a different face. For example, ZANU PF is the one which imported this culture from the liberation basis, zvavaita intolerance, entitlement, extrajudicial justice, vanhu vachiurayiwa kumabhesi. That is the same thing which is continuously happening, which means we don't expect to see somebody with the same history to come and say ndauya kuzochinja zvinhu. They will never change. Why? It's because they do not want to be held accountable for what they've done. They don't want to leave that culture of extrajudicially killing others, maiming others, etc. So we need somebody with clean hands, somebody without that history to take over. Then we are genuinely achiisa zvinhu panzvimbo. We need somebody who is not power hungry, somebody who is willing to do his 2 terms, set up the foundations, zenyika, and to say, guys, I've done my part. I'm now leaving this country to other people to move it forward the same way as other countries are doing. You know, putting our hands together, putting our ideas together, we contest each other in terms of ideas, then we build our countries, we build Zimbabwe for good. So the script of the liberation struggle, which is captured in the Radzema Soldier, has been torn to pieces. If you read if you sing that song, it was composed in such a way that everybody was supposed to understand the core values, principles, and direction of the liberation struggle. But they deviated from that. Look at how they started naming and killing each other. That was a clear testimony that they no longer trusted or followed the Radzema Soldier. If you read the history of Chitepo, there were extrajudicial killings, Zaitika, even before the death of Chitepo in Zambia. Several issues about extrajudicial killings which were happening right there in Zambia. Some of the issues were raised by Kenneth Kaunda about those extrajudicial killings. They continue to happen even right in Zimbabwe. Up to this day, kune vanhu vari kutambura nengozi dzenguva yehonde, vanhu vavakauraya vasina mhosva. Vamwe vaingonzi imi munoroya, imi muri mutengesi, imi munodai, vachitourayiwa. And you know, hazvina kuperera ikoko. Those things continue to happen up to this day. So you know, he says if Herbert Chitepo attends to one of the ideological lessons from his memorial institute, he may not recognize himself and his values. It was never about himself, but about the struggle. Life is a continuous struggle. So if you look at it, ZANU PF is a culture of believing that evil zvavanoda ndizvo zvinofanira kuva in ideology. That is wrong. An ideology is not about what a certain group of people or a certain class want. It's about the values, the principles, the guidelines, the parameters of any country. And we will then bring about the ideology. What is the idea which we want to pursue as a nation? And that idea is an idea which must be subscribed to by everybody without looking at political affiliations. But if you look at Herbert Chitepo's School of Ideology, it's very difficult and rare to see someone like me attending that school of ideology because there is no ideology to talk about. I can't be taught about ideology by thieves. I can't be taught about ideology by looters. I can't be taught about ideology by murderers. I can't be taught about ideology by oppressors. What kind of ideology are you going to teach me? I can't be taught about ideology by people who settle disputes in a rough way. Look at people. They are suffering in prison. Look at people. Some of them, they have lost their lives. Bonin Ngube, no accountability, no justice. Pastor Masaya, no accountability, no justice. So many of the comrades who have died in such a nation. We have people who have died from poisoning, comrades who have been poisoned simply because of their stance politically. So if you look at all those things, then what we need is a political reset. But that political reset does not come without a political leadership, which means we need to agree on one thing. Let us bring, or let us fight to change the system first. Let us bring a new, complete set of leadership. Tikadzosa ZANU PF iri ku-exile. It will continue with the same system because they've been part and parcel of this system for a very long time. Hapana pavachazodzingana kuti no, isusu tauya atichada vamwe vese takuda kushanda nevanyowani. No, you know, it will be the continuation of ZANU PF. Up until we agree that ZANU PF must be disbanded, then we are not going anywhere. Look at people like Anasevia Kasukwere. They are still claiming to be part of ZANU PF. They are still claiming to be members of ZANU PF. It's because ndo zvalari by nature, which means if you are led by somebody like that, they will simply continue with the legacy of ZANU PF. And imagine Sevia Kasukwere akauya akanzi is a transitional leader from Emerson Mnangagwa. Do you think Sevia Kasukwere will want to lose elections? No. You do everything you can to rig those elections, which means the culture of oppression will continue. Basically, if he comes, how in election Kasukwere, achirova chamisa azvite. So they will have to employ the same tactics. That is the reason why we have said, if we want to move, we must unite and bring one leader with who has been decided by the people of Zimbabwe. We bring him into leadership. He sets up the democratic institutions. Tochitanga nemapato ZANU PF inofanira kutofa zvokutokanganwikwa. Then we start once again. Vanakasukwere kana vachida, they will come and form new political parties. Kana vachiti dotito, that is it. And they start on the new values, new foundations and everything. We start to compete going forward, building our nation on shared values, agreed values, and so forth. So this is a very important topic raised by Dr. Mzembi, and I think I've shared what I think. So the whole political art sector needs to be removed. I agree with Kunta. We need to build democratic institutions, professionalize the civil service. Look at people like Nick Mangwana. They are ZANU PF mouthpieces. They don't speak on behalf of the government. They're supposed to be speaking on behalf of the government. You know, you hear less about the government projects and policies. You hear more about ZANU PF things and activities from their handles. That is the problem. Wherever you go, that is wrong. We need a country where politics is in the background of governance when it comes to the issues of government. And I think zvinofamba zvakanaka. Izvi zvemawo veterans vanatakarwawo ndotakazodai hazvishandi because they continue claiming superiority over everyone else. Your views are of much importance. Let us talk in the comment section. What are your thoughts?